Okay. I think this spot's gonna work for tonight. I have a little bit of a clearing here, and I also have a couple trees that I can create a canopy with. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up, clear some of the leaves, start a little fire, and then what I'm planning to do is take my poncho and I'm gonna tie it to these 3 trees here and create a little bit of a canopy just to keep the rain off the fire and keep the rain off me while I'm cooking my dinner. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up now, and then we'll get the fire started. Okay, so just want to give you an idea of what I have going on here. So I tied up the poncho here on 3 corners. I have it tied 4 places, but I only have 3 corners of the poncho tied. I had the 4th corner kind of tucked in there. I really wasn't able to run it. I could have ran it over to some trees in the distance, but it would have been pretty far off. So this is more than enough for me. So you can see a lot of coverage just for the area that I need to sit to cook a meal. If I was just looking for a very basic setup to get out of the rain, not necessarily looking to set up a campsite for multi-day use, but just for something that's quick and easy to get the rainwater off me so I can eat some food, stay dry, and get a fire going. This works really well. So you can see I just tied off the hood to seal that off there. Just use some very basic string, some very basic twine string. That stuff is great. It's very cheap. You can get a spool of it that'll last you forever, and you use what you need. You tie it off and you got yourself a basic shelter. So now that I have the shelter up, I'm gonna go ahead and get the fire going. Obviously when things are wet, it's a little hard to find wood that's dry, but in these conditions with all the leaves, sometimes you can kind of move the leaves around and you can find some dry sticks, but it's very important to find some dry kindling to get this fire started. I'll gather some of that up and then we'll go ahead and get that fire started. So I'm walking through the woods here looking for some dry kindling, and I just want to give you an idea of some places to look. Obviously everything's pretty wet here out in the open. Okay, so you can see this tree here. This tree here is leaning over. Because of that, if you look directly at the base, there is some dry stuff here. Now obviously you want to be careful. Wintertime, you don't know what could be living in here, but there you go. You get a dry piece of bark that can definitely be usable. And then down here, underneath these leaves, is dry pine straw. You can see those leaves right there. That's completely dry. Completely dry in there. There's another piece of bark that could be used. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this dry pine straw, maybe a few of those leaves, and that'll give me some dry kindling to get that fire started. The more time you take getting together dry ingredients, some bark, kindling, something to start the fire, it will pay dividends as you make the fire. If you rush into it and you take a bunch of wet material, you're just going to get frustrated, it's not going to light, and you're going to end up being cold and without a fire. Now, in this situation, I'm going to be cooking my food on my little butane burner, so the fire isn't crucial for food, but it is crucial for warmth. In conditions like this, if you get wet, the temperatures drop at night, that can cause problems for you. So fire could be very important. So now that I have the materials, I'm going to go ahead and get this fire started. I'm going to take the bark and put this down as a base. I have a couple pieces of bark here. I'm going to use these to create a little platform. Tonight, we're going to go extreme survival situation. We don't have any conveniences, no lighter. We don't have any fire starter. We just have our ferro rod, some of our wax rope, and we had the elements that we were able to find in the woods. Now what I'm going to do in this base here in the pine straw is I'm going to go ahead and we have our wax rope here, we have our ferro rod, and I have some dry kindling. I have some other kindling over here, but some of that is a little damp. This was kind of the really dry stuff I was able to find, so we want to start with that. So before we go ahead and light it, we're going to take and just shave some of this material, some of this metal, into this pile, kind of build a nice little pile of this metal, and that way we have something to light. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have a nice little pile of material down there. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these sticks, and we're going to start putting these sticks on, and we're going to start building. We're going to start building our fire here. We want to have a little bit of an opening so we can get our wax rope in there. I'll probably go right in here on this side. In fact, what I'll do maybe is kind of leave that gap open like that so we can get that wax rope in there. But we're going to get these sticks built up here. Okay. We're going to let this burn for a second. Alright, now we've got a good fire going. I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to put that down in there. You can hear that sparking. That's that metal down there. We're really just trying to catch that pine straw right now. Once that pine straw catches, that'll burn and that'll start to catch that wood on fire. So I'm just slowly working this rope back, trying to catch some of that pine straw. That's why I love this rope so much, is it kind of works as that little torch. Once you have it lit, you can use it to light the rest of your fire. So I think we should be good there. And now is kind of when we can start incorporating some of this wetter wood. You don't want anything too wet, but you get the dry wood on the bottom to catch. It'll start to dry out the stuff that's a little bit more wet. All right, I think that'll be good for now. Let's go ahead and let that dry some of that wood out, get a good fire going, and I'll go ahead and start on my dinner. We want a nice level flat surface. Just gonna take a stick from the fire here. All right, so once that water starts boiling, we can go ahead, add it to our dinner. We'll have a nice meal to eat. Fire provides plenty of heat. We have our poncho shelter here, keeping this whole area nice and dry. So you can see I'm nice and dry. You want to keep the fire small. Obviously, if the flames get too high, you run the risk of melting your poncho. So you want to keep a nice small fire. It's easy to manage and control, easy to feed. And again, we don't need anything big. We're not using it to cook for tonight. And it's not super cold. It's going to be, down to the 30s tonight. So definitely going to need some heat, but you don't need like a roaring fire. And the poncho really helps to kind of keep this heat down. You can feel it goes up, hits the poncho, kind of bounces back down. So it kind of creates this nice warm environment of heat, keeps the heat trapped in here. So very nice and comfortable. Yeah, water is just about done boiling. All right, so the water's boiling. Go ahead and shut this off. Once again, that's probably about as big as the fire should get because we don't want the flames to get too high. So that's about the size I'm going to keep it for tonight. All right, so for tonight we're having breakfast skillet. Looks really good. You can see here we're having some egg, sausage, looks like some peppers in there. Mountain House breakfast skillet. All right, so you put the boiling water in. It says to add 1 and 1/2 cups. I just kind of go by feel on it. You close it up. You let it sit for a few minutes. It says wait 5 minutes. You open the package. Be ready to go. Okay, so while we're waiting on the food to cook here, just a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. As always, I really appreciate you watching the channel. Really appreciate you commenting, liking, and subscribing. All those things really help the YouTube algorithm. Helps to kind of push my channel, my videos out there for more people to see. So I appreciate you doing that. Tonight I wanted to try something a little bit different. Had some people commenting that they wanted me to get out and do some more camping videos. So that's what tonight is. It gets dark really quick in the winter time, and with some rainy, some cold weather, I thought it'd make a good environment for some nice wet weather camping and a little bit of survival techniques. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, I'll probably get down to the 30s tonight, but a nice little fire with some food that you can bring along does a great job. Again, anything you guys want to comment down below, I do read those comments. I try to respond as much as possible, and I love hearing from you guys. Any ideas that you have for future videos, just comments on the video at hand or something from a previous video. I'd love to hear from you guys. I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff, getting out in the woods, getting out in nature, just kind of enjoying the outdoors. especially on nights like this when it's rainy. You can kind of, everything's very quiet. You can kind of relax, you listen to the rain fall, listen to it dropping on the leaves. It's very peaceful, very relaxing. I enjoy it, and I encourage you guys to get out and do the same. Get out in the woods, try some of these things out for yourselves. If you saw in the last video, I did do the backpack giveaway, the Torch EDC Backpack, which again, as you see here, I use it a lot now. We did the giveaway, so congratulations to the subscriber that won that backpack. Stay tuned to the channel, guys. There'll be more videos in the future. I plan on doing some more stuff with Torch Off-Road, Torch EDC, and there's another company that I'm talking to right now that makes some really good ferro rods and some survival gear, and hopefully I can do a giveaway with them sometime in the near future as well. So make sure you stay tuned, keep an eye out for those videos, and maybe you guys can hopefully win something here soon. All right, I think that food's just about ready. Let's go ahead and crack it open and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. Smells amazing too. Yeah, it's really good. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and chow down on this. Thanks again for watching the video. Thank you again for being subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a comment down below. Like the video. Again, it really helps me out, guys. I'm gonna try to keep posting every Monday, so keep an eye out for those videos. Makes for a super fast, super easy meal when you're out in the woods like this. Like I said, a nice, easy, small fire. I just threw some more wood on there. That's probably the last I'm gonna put on it for tonight. Again, we really don't need anything big, just something small to keep us warm. Nice little burner, some butane, little burner on top works great. I keep my Stanley with me, just to boil some water. I'll make some coffee with that in the morning. Once again, the poncho makes a great shelter. Keeps us dry out here in the rain. It's some cold, wet weather. So once again, I'm gonna go ahead and chow down on this. Thanks again for being here, and I will catch you in the next one.